George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation. It's time now to stay connected with King Sharif. And we actually have some breaking news with King Sharif. Before he even stays connected, let's connect on the breaking news, King Sharif. What you got going on, brother?
Yeah. So it's about time for me to say goodbye to Syracuse. I'll be moving on. I won't be far away. I'll be next door. I'll be in Elmira, New York. I'm taking a position as a reporter anchor for WETM 18 News. So I'm looking forward to aligning with all of the news in that area, getting connected with the Corning Elmira area and the surrounding parts that be. And I'll still be back and forth. Looking forward to some other things. I have some other things in the works that I won't talk about just yet, but that's the main focus. We're moving there. I'm also the official host for thisis50.com. So I'm shaking and moving, just really trying to follow in the footsteps of George Kilpatrick. You know,
You talked about This Is 50. Say a little bit more about that because people may not be familiar who that's connected to, although they should have a clue.
absolutely. Well, 50 Cent is a rapper, actor, producer.
Well, we know that is connected to 50 Cent. That's what
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I was trying to get you to say. Yeah.
Okay, well, 50 Cent has a blog that he's had probably since 2007, 2008-ish.
Yeah.
And he puts content up of hip hop, R&B, lifestyle, whatever's hot goes on that particular website. So you see a lot of featured interviews and stuff like that. So I'll be working to do exclusive interviews with him, create exclusive content, just as a personality. This week, I'll be interviewing DJ Drewski, Loving Hip Hop, Hot 97. He is responsible for a lot of stuff that's happened, Pop Smoke, a lot of the new Brooklyn drill music genre. So me and Drewski are going to be talking about that. He just dropped an album. So look forward to that, to seeing that on thisis50.com. Normally you would catch just anybody who has a grasp, a handle on the culture, if you will. You can find that there on thisis50.com. Basically entertainment news for the most part.
Word. Well, congratulations on that. And so you're King Sharif here and you're King Sharif on This Is 50, but who you going to be on the TV?
Well, this is the thing, right? There's a two-piece installment to my brand. So whenever I'm on TV, I'm Sharif D. King. Whenever I'm on digital or radio, it's King Sharif.
Right.
So we're kind of, we're playing big games here. We're playing big games here. But I look at it like this. Some authors go by their real name. Some go by an alias, whatever have you. Sharif D. King is my real name. King Sharif is my real name, just switched around. So we're just gonna play with that. We're gonna have a lot more fun on the radio and digital circuit with King Sharif. On the radio circuit, I'm actually going to put together a syndicated radio show on air on air with King Sharif. So you'll hear that in surrounding areas, and I'll be King Sharif on radio and digital.
Well, and if they say Sharif, they got you either way, right? What's up,
Either way,
Sharif?
so.
And then you that might be your name. You might just go to one name now.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. However it happens, man. I'm just grateful for it. God has opened some doors for me, so I'm excited.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we got you in here to say to wish you luck and that you've also contributed to some of the great things that we have had in our community. What's going on?
Yeah, actually, my fraternity is doing something to give back to the community.
I think you might have hit the button over there.
My apologies.
I'm not hearing you.
I didn't say anything. I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not hearing you. So we'll just.
Yeah. So my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, we are doing a event to give back to anybody who in need of a coat, clothes, accessories. The event is called Coats and Clothes for the Community. We're collecting coats and clothes and donations. The Syracuse Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated is looking forward to seeing you guys come out. So every Saturday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., we will be at Rise Above Poverty. The address is 600 West Genesee Street, Syracuse, New York, 13204. I say that so that you can type it in your phones, in your devices, whatever have you, so you won't miss a beat. But meet us down there, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. We'll be collecting coats and clothes. It's only brand new or slightly used clothes that you don't need. You know, you can drop it off with us, and we're dealing with Rise Above Poverty. And like I said, the address is 600 West Genesee Street, and we're looking forward to it. The entire month of April will be there. So every Saturday in the month of April, you'll see us. Meet us there. We'll be collecting coats and clothes for the community, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys come out.
Yeah, I know, and continued good work by the brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi to help the community. And so it's not just coats. And I thought initially it was just coats, but it's also clothes, gently used or new. You can drop it up between 12 and 2, 600 West Genesee Street. And if you're heading towards, going down it used to be called Automobile Row. There's still a couple of dealerships over there. Used to be a whole lot more.
Yeah.
But if you go down from downtown, coming from Dinosaur, I'm just giving people landmarks on West Genesee Street. If you come in from downtown, Clinton Square, James Street, if you will, it's right there on the side of the Misio Church. You see the big Rise Above Poverty logo right there on that corner. So I think there's some good stuff going on.
You'll see something outside that shows you exactly where to go. And we're also working with the community closet on this particular event as well. Mm-hmm. So come out, help us to help the community. That's what we're trying to do. We wanted to make it so that it's not just for one season, it's for all seasons. So this is an event that will be repeated throughout the year. So this is our first time doing this, and we look forward to making it happen every season.
No, this is important. Couple of things that happened, obviously, in the music world. What's your reaction to DMX passing and what that means what it meant to you?
DMX just had a lot of different albums. He stood for a hero. He was also somebody you could relate to. He's also somebody that brought relationships between God and whomever was in the community. He really showed you that no matter what you've been through, no matter who you are, you can still have a relationship with God. And so he had scriptures on his albums. And his albums, you could tell he was always going through something. Dark and Hell is Hot. He had just a bunch of different music that was just named. Just the names of the albums was crazy. And you would think about it like Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. And then there was X. You could tell that he was fighting a lot of stuff, but he had a big heart. And in his music, he just had a lot to talk about, and a lot of people could relate to him. As for me, he meant a lot to me because I grew up on Rough Riders. I grew up being from Harlem and the Bronx, and just seeing how influential Rough Riders was, them riding their bikes, just popping up in the community, everybody loving their movement. They're responsible for some of the biggest producers and artists that we know today, the Lox, Jadakiss, Styles P, Chic Luch, Swiss Beats, Eve. I mean, the list goes on. Even Young Berg, who's now called Hitmaker, he came up under DMX. Nobody really understands how that happened. But DMX was very influential, man, and it meant a lot to me. The one thing that bothered me was that people weren't giving him respect all the way through. It's sad that it would take for somebody to die for them to give respect to somebody that really meant a lot to the hip hop culture. He's a legend. Like I said, you can put together a track list of 30 plus songs. There are people who can't put together 30 plus songs. People don't have a catalog like that. So that's major in itself. He meant a lot to me, a lot to the hip hop community, and he's forever going to be around. You know, he's one of those artists that you're gonna remember. A lot of his songs, you can think about a time or two that you were dealing with something, and the song helped you to get through that particular time.
Yeah, certainly, certainly, right. And I definitely wanted to give you some space to talk about that. Another artist who made some news over the last week or so was Kid Cudi, who wore a dress on Saturday Night Live, and so I went to one of the sites, and automatically they assumed that he was coming out as trans. So I don't even know Kid Cudi's music really, and not that I would anyway, but if I did, but I just don't know it. Like I've heard some other artists. So, what about that decision? And he's also very open about his support of LGBTQ. So, what about Kid Cudi, and what should we know about his decision? Not only did he wear a dress, and one of the he said it was in tribute to Kurt Cobain, or I think he
Chris
said that.
Farley,
Yeah,
Kurt Cobain, and Chris Farley.
yeah, yeah.
I just think that it's 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 his own right to do what he wants to do. Like nobody can
Hmm.
stop you from paying homage or paying tribute the way you want to pay tribute. The
Hmm.
thing is, when you do things like that, people are going to immediately dig up an assumption of their own based on how you presented things. But you know, I can't judge him based on which way he wanted to go. Do I agree with him wearing a dress? Probably not. I don't agree with him wearing a dress in that fashion or any fashion. But
Because
well, I don't agree with it because that is more so how it was brought up. We're not used to seeing men wear dresses, right?
mhm.
So this is a whole new mode, right? This is a whole new thing for some people to see men wearing dresses. Again, this is not me saying anything's wrong with it. I don't, have a bias against anybody who chooses to do so. I wouldn't do it. I
Mhm.
don't have anything against LGBTQ community or anybody who does that, but I wouldn't do that. I would. That's just not how it was brought up. I don't know why Kid Cudi decided to do that. But one of the things that
Well, I
people,
think I think what they pointed, it's a floral print spaghetti strap, and Kurt Cobain wore something like that on a cover. I forgot which magazine it was. Very similarly.
I think a lot of people, there are some people in the hip hop community felt like, well, why would he do that when DMX just passed away?
In other words, taking the attention away from DMX is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
some people felt like that. Like, why wouldn't he? There's other things he could have been doing. He could have been paying homage to DMX.
DMX.
But when you go on SNL, that's a separate platform. That's a whole different set of fans. And that's the other thing is on the major stages, DMX deserves to be highlighted and not forgotten about. But it doesn't take away from Kurt Cobain or Chris Farley at all. But
Right.
he decided to pick and choose who he wanted to represent at that moment.
Mhm.
It just so happened that, different parts of the culture took it differently. This is the thing, though, Judge Kilpatrick. It's like when you post something on Instagram, you're not going to be able to hit 150,000 fans in the comments and explain what it is that you meant, what you were really trying to do, why you didn't do a thing, and why you did do a thing.
Well,
Makes it hard.
is it because we're not comfortable in how some men express their masculinity, and so therefore because there's this thought about especially black men, and again, I don't even know his music for real. And tell me about Kid Cudi.
Well, Kid Cudi has done a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like he had the Day and Night record. I mean, he's definitely been touching the younger demographic, and a lot of people do love Kid Cudi. But I think there's still room for Kid Cudi to put out more music, more time for him to express himself. Was a time where Kid Cudi was in a dark place,
Mhm.
and so we don't know exactly what's happening with Kid Cudi, right? Like
Mhm.
he could be going any which way. But when things like this happen because we're not used to it, instantly we make an assumption that, hey, maybe he's joining the LGBTQ community, or maybe he's going this way, or he was forced to do this based on what the industry is.
Or maybe he just wanted to express that way. But so speaking of which, let's go to Little Nas X, right? Because Little Nas X did his song "Call Me by Your Name." That's the name of it. Montero, "Call Me by Your Name,"
Mhm.
and that was, so he's out. So it's not like there's a question about his sexuality, but because he did this video and just I guess there was a couple. The video had him lap dancing with the devil and then slashing the devil's throat, putting on the horns and whatever. And people were going after him because they said, well, he's got a lot of children's fans and he shouldn't have used that imagery. So my question to you is, what is wrong with him expressing who he is in the way that he is so that other young people can feel that they have the same level of expression, that they have the right to do that?
I don't think there's an issue with him expressing himself per se. Again, depending on the demographic and who you're speaking to, everybody has a way of looking at it different. We can all look out the same window and see different things. I really think that in terms of Little Nas X, he's still growing. He's still learning himself. He's
Mhm.
still learning his place with his fans and his supporters, and he's also learning, where he wants to go. What's next for him? He's been in the past. Now he's in the present. Now he's looking at the future. So he's dealing with all three of those things, which in all reality could all be demons to some
Mhm.
extent, right?
Mhm.
Like he may not have liked who he once was, or he may not even like who he is now, but
Well,
maybe is looking forward to who he's
society,
becoming.
but I think that's part of what the message in the video was, that he wasn't allowed to like himself, right?
Yeah,
And this is him basically saying, I like myself and I'm not concerned about how you feel about how I am. That's
I
how
think
I
I
looked at it.
think it's the
That's how I
origin.
interpreted it. Mm?
I think it's the origins of the ideas that we create based on what we see, right? Like we we all know of a certain thing, we're used to a certain thing. So when we see something, we're like, oh, that's not right, because we weren't brought up on that. We all have different morals and values. And when things go outside of that, we're like, oh, that's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that when he dropped the sneaker or the song, I was excited about it. I wasn't excited about the sneaker or the song, but I think that he has a right to express himself, and people are learning early on who someone is. So he really just introduced another layer of who he really is. And I think with that, people are nervous because he has an influential grip on the younger demographic, on not just younger millennials, but the Gen Zers. They're
And what,
looking to him.
so what's the grip? What does that, what you imply that that grip is not a good grip?
No, I'm not saying that it's not a good grip. I'm saying that in terms of Little Nas X, he can be seen differently depending on who's viewing his music, who's viewing whatever he's putting out, whatever the product is. There are
Mhm.
some people that think that Little Nas X is bad based on what's coming out now. When he first came out, kids loved him. Kids loved him. And that was the first introduction. He had a couple of hit records. So now, after that, there are people who are looking at him like he's a hero. I want to be just like him. He came out. I represent the same thing he represents. I look up to him. That opens up a whole nother can of worms. It opens up a whole nother layer for people to say, A, I like him. B, I don't like him.
What, I guess, Sharif, I'm saying, what is the can of worms? If he, what is the can of worms?
I can't say that. I can't say what's the can of worms because I'm not there.
Mhm.
I'm not one of his fans. You
Right.
know, I work in this business, so I view him differently as a whole. But for
Mhm.
me, I'm looking at him like, do I believe in the devil? Do I believe in what he dropped? No, I don't. I don't believe in that.
Do you think that that was about what that was? That was about devil worship?
It came off as devil worship. And so
Mhm.
when you're using
That's right. That's what you're saying. Mhm.
using 666, when you're taking human blood and putting it on a sneaker, and then you put a scripture on the sneaker, there's a lot of confusion with that too. It's not like you stood on one side. So what people trying to say, oh yeah, he killed the devil and he put on the horns, that can be manipulative
But it
based on
also
how you
could it also mean that I'm going so because I heard a lot about it, and then so to be honest with you, I didn't want to watch it because of that, right?
yeah.
Not because of him. I didn't want to watch it, but let me watch it. Let me see what this. And then I said, you know what this is really about? It's slaying the demon, right? Facing your demons and slaying them and owning them. Basically, that's what I thought about that. I didn't see it at so in the video, just for people, he basically again gives the devil a lap dance, slits his throat, put the horns on. But
Mhm,
before that, he's cast out of heaven by
mhm.
God for his sexuality. That's what that is. So so then he goes down, he's in hell, he does a lap dance, and then he slits the guy's throat. Why is that so so what part of that is offensive? It's the devil part for a lot of people, but I watched it and I said, I see what he's saying here. At least that's how I interpreted it, that it was about me slaying my demons because everyone has or fears, right? Fear of being yourself. That's one way to look at it. Now, when you get to the sneaker and the Satan and all of that, not down with that. That's just me. But
Right.
artistically, he's basically saying, I'm slaying my demons. That's how I looked at it. What do you say?
The other way you can look at it is in the Bible, there are a lot of people who are LGBTQ in the Bible. It talks about not accepting that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So maybe that's the reason for him saying, you know what, I'm going to incorporate this to show that you can be of the LGBTQ community and
Mm-hmm.
still be accepted by God, even though this is what you represent. I have a homegirl I call my sister who is bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. One of my childhood friends, she's bisexual. So I understand and I respect those out there who represent the LGBTQ community. What I don't love is the origins of or the connection to the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there's two parts being played here. The other
Right.
thing is it's not clear. It's not clear what side he's standing on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. If you really are saying, hey, let's slice the devil up, why did you have to include blood in your sneaker? Why did you use 666? Why did you use certain things? So you have to be careful with that. And I think that's where a lot of people are not trusting of what he's saying or where he's going. So that right there is a lot of why people are having issues with it. Again, this is me not saying that I'm against Little Nas X in any way. This is not me saying that he's bad or good. And this is me just expressing the fact that there are a lot of people who believe in certain things. People read the Bible and they say, hey, the Bible says this, so he's wrong. Or anybody else who represents this is wrong. That's where some people kind of like put a circle around it and be like, oh, I don't know about this.
Here's 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 the bottom line though. How many views of that video?
He did
With
but is it
people,
about the views? Is it about the views though?
I'm just
See,
saying. What I'm saying to you is, the point I'm making is, he made his point.
did he?
Yeah, he got you to watch the video or click on it, and he got you to. I mean, you think about it. Here's a guy that was sitting on his sister's couch, and he has a, a several videos that are like up there with of all time watch videos, right? Somebody who started on TikTok before TikTok was TikTok, right? I
Right.
mean, so for him, he won. He won. He won.
You could, but you have to know what what you're chasing. You have to know what you're going after. Now,
Okay.
if it's the numbers, if it's YouTube views, maybe it is. If you're after a number, then you did win. But just because somebody views it doesn't mean you won overall, because you could possibly lose fans. You may possibly gain fans. It all depends on what your stance is. People view stuff all the time. You got haters who watching you, right? So they might go to your video, tap your video, click your video and watch it because they want to see what you're doing, not because they support you. So we got to be careful with what we think is a win, because a view ain't a win all the time, all the way through.
Well, it's a win for the person who put it out there.
But we don't even know if that's what his intentions were. I mean, he was already getting a lot of views.
Well, what I'm
So
saying is, if you talk about how things are monetized, and if you put it out there that way, I don't, whether I agree with it or like his stuff or not, I'm saying it's a win when you get people to talk about it, talk about you. And here's the question. The question for you and for anyone else is, does he get booked on the next thing, right? Is he invited to the next show, right? How is he going to be untouchable, or are people going to allow him to be? Is he going to be as commercial as he was? Is he going to be invited, or is he going to be invited back to the Country Music Awards? Is he going to be invited? I mean, he's not in that genre anymore, but is he going to be invited anywhere? That's the question.
the way I see it is, he will. First of all, you're as good as your last project. I'll
Right.
say that. So if he drops another project and it's solid and it's everything that fans wanted from him, I think he'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Because people's attention spans are not really there. 5-second attention spans. And even people who have 5-minute attention spans, they're only paying attention to what you did last. If you do bad and then turn around and drop an album and sell 5 million, they're like, oh, he sold 5 million. They're not worried about that. So I don't think this completely ruined him. I think he can redeem himself. I really think
Yeah.
that
See,
there's
you
ways.
you're assuming it ruined him, and I don't think it did.
No, I'm not.
I
Well, no, I'm not assuming it ruined him. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not assuming that it ruined him. What I'm saying to you is, some people could have walked away from him. Doesn't mean he's ruined. Some people could have walked away from him because of their stance. That's not me saying that it ruins him. I'm saying other people who don't like what you represent can walk away from you, or you can gain fans from it. I'm saying you're as good as what you last did. So whoever didn't like what he did, if he drops something new in 2 minutes from now, he might be good in their eyes. This happens all the time. People do something bad, they're in the tabloids, they're in the news, they're trending, then they drop something right behind that, and it's PR. It clears it right up.
We will see.
Yep.
We will see. We will see. I don't think that it's as harmful as people think it is going to be, because you have a lot of acts in, whether it's my cup of tea or not, there's a lot of acts out here that have done far worse than what he's done. I think it's a third rail because he's combining sexuality with Satanism. That's how I see. That's another piece of what some people would try to say. I'm not saying that, but I think that's where the third rail comes in, where he's trying.
I think the internet is its own genre.
Yeah.
Like, you have genres of music. I think the internet is its own genre. And if you can learn how to use social media and digital media, and one, monetize it, but use it to your benefit for your brand, that's a win in itself. So he's always been that. We know him from the TikToks and from social media and from him trending. We don't know him from, older times when you just put out music and you need the music to spread for you to get popping. We know him from kids jumping around and singing his songs, and it's trending. He's on a bunch of TikToks, people dancing on his songs, and it's being played at birthday parties. People watching it on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, whatever have you. He may even jump into, hey, I want to put together my own show because I have my own stance and I have my own lane. Anything could come from this. I mean, we know how this game goes. This game is widespread, and there's an opportunity for him to build on what he's doing. I don't completely understand it as of yet, but I won't X him out. I just don't understand. There are people who understand because they represent that and then tapping into them. But maybe there's a whole album to come behind this where he talks about all of this.
Will you
But
play
until
it?
he explains it, I'll give it a chance. I'll play it and see what's going on. I'm never gonna completely X him out. But as of right now, he's confused me and I don't know what's going on with him.
And what confuses you?
Well, I just don't understand where he's at in his life. I'm a lifestyle guy. So I love, when people talk about health and wellness and how they live their life, traveling, eating, experiencing life. That's a lot of times why people wait. They drop an album here, they wait a year or two, live life, and then they got a lot to talk about, so there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn about, younger people who are experiencing whatever and they talk about it in their music. I just don't understand it because I haven't been able to relate fully to everything that he's put out. The sneakers I can't relate to. The music I can't fully relate to either. But I would never X him out.
Sharif, King Sharif, staying connected with all of that. Good luck in your career. I'm sure that we'll be hearing great things from you. This is 50.com for the entertainment side. And what is the station you will be reporting from beginning May 1st or something like that?
Yeah, it'll be May 3rd. WETM 18 News. So I'll again, I have a new handle for it, Sharif D King TV. So you guys can check me out there. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. We'll be connected, and I'll still be keeping the Stay Connected venture going. So I'm looking forward to it, man. There's a lot to be heard and to be seen. For me, George Kilpatrick, I want to say thank you. You've opened up your platform to me. You've been a mentor to me. You've taught me a lot. You've showed me a lot. You've introduced me to a lot here in Syracuse, and I could be nothing but thankful for what you've done for me while I've been here.
I appreciate that. That's King Sharif, staying connected, inspiration for the nation.